Hello there, welcome to Love Good Lane. My name is Matthew. Thanks for joining me. Today, we're in the kitchen, and I thought we would make chicken spaghetti. But actually, because I have some of this delicious roasted turkey left over, we're going to use that instead. So I guess technically it's turkey spaghetti. But this recipe I got online several years ago from one of my favorite YouTubers, Hands That Cook, Linda. It's actually her sister-in-law's recipe, I believe. You've heard me talk about her before. Unfortunately, she's no longer making videos, but her channel is still active. You can still watch some of those wonderful recipes. I have tweaked a few things, and I'll let you know about those as we go. I've got everything prepared so we can get going, except for my green pepper. I thought we would prepare that, chop that up, while we chat and get things set up. So I'm just going to do a medium chop. Do you use the top of your green pepper? I do. I mean, I take out the stem. You just saw me put that in the garbage bowl, but it's still yummy, usable green pepper. I don't want to waste it. Okay. I don't think we need a bowl. We'll just use our cutting board here. Inner core out, some of the membrane, and oh good, we got the seeds to come out. So I'm just, first, this is how I do it with the green pepper. First I do strips. I don't know if you can see from that angle, but I cut it in half, and then I do strips that's maybe quarter of an inch to half an inch thick. Might as well do the other one while I'm at it. Should be fine. And then I just kind of gather them up a little bit, get them lined up, and then I just give it a chop. I would say this is a medium to small dice. They're not giant chunks, but yet we're not going super small like we're trying to mince it or anything. And that's about it. All right, let's get our pan. I did start it a little bit. Let's get our pan heated here. That should be good. While that is heating, I have already cooked up 1 pound of spaghetti noodles. The recipe actually calls for vermicelli, which is a close cousin to spaghetti noodles, but you can use whatever you have on hand. You could use a different shaped pasta, or you could use linguine. It really doesn't matter. But that's what I'm using today. I do recommend that you break them in half. I know that's not a traditional Italian method for pasta, but this is not a traditional Italian dish, so I think we're allowed to do that. But because we're mixing other things into this casserole, I think it's easier to do that if the noodles are broken in half rather than the long noodles. What else we got here? We have, the recipe calls for 2 cups of cooked chicken. This is actually 4 cups because that's what I had. I wasn't going to waste it. It should be fine. There's a little bit of dark meat and mostly white meat in here. But Linda says to take your chicken and boil it, poach it in water to cook it. I've done that once before. Personally, I don't think it's the most flavorful method. So I usually roast my chicken in the oven, depending on the size of your chicken pieces. It usually takes about half an hour at 375 or 400. Rub them with a little olive oil, sprinkle with salt and pepper. It's delicious. So that's what I would do if I didn't have this prepared already. Like I said, this is some leftover delicious roast turkey. So that's what we're using for that. I have 1 pound of Velveeta that I chopped up into chunks, and that's really just so that it melts quicker than it being in the larger brick, the larger size. What else do we have? We have a can of peas that I have drained. It actually calls for half a can of peas, but I like peas, and so we're putting the whole can in. It also calls for a can of Rotell. I am using a can of fire-roasted diced tomatoes because my family does not care for spicy things. So we're not going to use the Rotell. We're going to use the diced tomatoes instead. I have 1 medium-sized onion, and just in case you're wondering what I mean by medium-sized onion, it's not, when you look at the onion, you don't go, oh, well, that's a tiny one, or you don't go, wow, that's a huge onion. It's just a regular medium-sized onion. I've diced that up. I also have here in the strainer a 4-ounce jar of pimentos that I have drained, and those are ready to go. The recipe calls for 3 ounces. I don't see 3-ounce jars in the store anymore. I see 4 ounces, and so I'm not going to take an ounce of that out and save it for something else. We're just going to use the 4 ounces. I don't know if back in the day the jars came in 3 ounces. That is often the case with some of these older recipes. We may never know. Anyway, we've got those. We've got, well, you saw me cut up the green pepper. We talked about those. I told you about the noodles. Let me make sure I've got everything going here. Oh, Hands That Cook, Linda, she puts one of those little cans of sliced black olives. She mixed that in with everything else. I think that would be delicious. I love the salty brininess of olives, but again, my family does not care for olives, so I'm not using it. I'm just going to leave those out. But you do you. You do what your family likes. I'm just going down the list here. And as always, don't worry about trying to write this down. If you're interested in giving this a try, I'll have the recipe listed down below in the description box. Yeah, I think we have got it all going. So you could use butter. That's what Linda does, but I'm just going to use a little olive oil in the pan here, and we're going to put the green pepper and the onion in the pan. Oh, I need a utensil. And we're just going to saute this, not until the onion is browned, and we don't want the green pepper to be mushy, but we're just looking to soften. I'll turn my handle. We want the onion and the green pepper to soften, because we are going to mix this all together and bake it. But the baking really is just so that it all comes together. It's not really to cook the various aspects. Hi, Rams. I have a 13x9 pan that I have sprayed with some nonstick cooking spray, and I have preheated the oven to 350 degrees. Okay, so I think that about does it. The green pepper and onion, it's softened a little bit. The onion has just started to turn sort of translucent. So what I'm going to do now, get the goodies off my spoon, I'm going to take this pan off the heat, and I'm going to bring my pot over here. And what we want to do first is start to melt our Velveeta. Actually, this is Aldi store brand, so it's not Velveeta, it's whatever they call theirs, but processed cheese spread. I'm going to put that in the pan, but I've got a cup of hot water. I'm just going to add a little bit just to help it get going. That was not even half a cup. Just to give it a little aid in getting melty and yummy. We don't want to put too much liquid in because the Rotell, or in this case for today, the diced tomatoes, we're not going to drain them. So there is some liquid that we'll get from there. But when the Velveeta is melted and everything else is mixed in, we need that little bit of liquid to kind of loosen everything up and keep it from getting too stiff into a ball. All right, that's going well. I feel we need to. I've got some more of that water in there, but I think we're okay. Just gonna kind of keep it moving here. A light stir. What am I on? I'm on about medium, between medium and medium high heat on my burner here. You don't want to go too high because then you might scorch the bottom before everything is melted. And we don't want that. Oh yeah, everything is starting to get melty droopy. You know, when I'm filming this, it's in December, and we're in full holiday season mode, Christmas time, and I realized that with the pretty green of the green pepper, and then we've got the pimento, it's a little bit holiday-ish. This is super easy, as you've seen. Not much to it. It's not difficult, and it comes together pretty quickly. You just have to get the stuff prepared. It's kind of the way with most recipes, right? But this is one of those nice recipes where it's good on any day, a weeknight, but it's also good if you want something a little bit special for company. And I find that almost everybody loves chicken and noodles, cheesy chicken noodles. So, I mean, of course, unless you're vegan or a vegetarian, but okay, that is almost all melted. We can't really see, just barely can we see a couple, the outline of a couple of the cheese chunks. We're going to add our green pepper and onion in. Don't want to leave any goodies in the pan, so we're scraping her down. Actually, I'm going to give this a rinse real quick. Do you do that? Do you rinse out your pans? I find that it makes cleanup a little easier. Put this away too. Let me do that. Yum. Okay, let's get our diced tomatoes in there. And as I said before, we're not going to drain these because we want some of that liquid that's in there. A Come on, tomato. There it goes. Yum. It's looking good. We'll put our pimento in. Give that a stir. And we're in the home stretch here. I'm going to turn this off. Oh, don't worry, I haven't forgotten. I know we have a couple more ingredients, but we do that at the end. Bring our pan over here. Okay, let's do the chicken next. No, this is turkey. But usually when I do it, I use chicken. So, as I said before, the original recipe calls for about 2 cups of chopped chicken or turkey. We're using 4 cups, but I don't think it being a little bit meatier is going to be a problem. I've already drained these. We're actually going to do the peas at the end. I'm just running a little hot water over these noodles, which I have cooked and drained. Do you know about that little trick? If you cook your noodles in advance, just to loosen them up. Because I did rinse them so that they wouldn't all stick together while I was waiting. I'm going to use one of these under here so we don't drip along the way. And I'm going to put that in. That's another great tip for make ahead pasta. If you make it ahead of time and then rinse it, drain it, and put it in a sealed container, not with water, no water, that's only for potatoes, but seal it up. You can put it in the refrigerator, and then when you want to use it and or serve it, then what you do is you put it in your colander, and then you run really hot water, as hot as your tap will go, run it through the noodles, give it a toss, and it not only loosens them up, but it reheats them. So maybe you knew that little trick already. I do that somewhat frequently. Yum. Okay, this looks good. All that melty cheese and the nice chunks of turkey. And you can see the colorful veggies. We're going to do one more step. Actually, 2 more steps. I'm going to do that before I do the peas. I'm doing the peas at the end because I want to stir them in, but I don't want to crush them so they're all mushed. The recipe doesn't say to do this, but we're going to do it because I really don't like bland food. This is a little less than half a teaspoon of salt. And we're going to do some pepper. Just because those veggies that we sauteed and the turkey, and what else? The pimento, we didn't season those. So I don't want it to be under-seasoned. Those away. Okay, I'm going to give this a quick stir. And now, add our peas. I like to use the whole can. I'm going to try to be somewhat gentle. As we were just talking about, I don't want to squash all of the peas. Great. Okay. Now, this is the hardest part. It's getting it into the pan without making a giant mess. I wonder if I can do it facing you. Maybe. Sort of. I think we made it. I don't want to leave any goodies up in there. Okay. Give that a rinse in a second. And I'm just going to spread this out a little in the pan. Yum. It looks beautiful. The red and green. Easy enough for any old day, but fancy enough for company if you want to. All right. I'm going to pop this into the oven, which has been preheated to 350. Let's see how long it says. It says about 35 minutes. I bet it's going to be close to that, but I'll let you know when we come back how long this baked for. You just want it to be heated through all the way. You might get a few bubbles around on the edges, on the outside. But yeah, so I'm going to pop this in the oven and we'll be back. We're back. The timer went off. It's time to take our turkey spaghetti out of the oven. My gosh, perfect. So it was in there for exactly 35 minutes. It's a little bubbly around the edges. The top is just barely golden brown. Let's see if I can show you a little closer. All right, so give this a try. It's super easy. As you saw, really tasty. I think you're going to enjoy it, and you could use actually a variety of things. Like we're using the turkey, leftover roasted turkey. I think it could also be good with some ham if you have that left. Yeah, we've got Teddy, the visitor, in the kitchen. You put it away? Okay, thank you. But yes, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. It's free and it does help out my channel. So thanks for being here in the kitchen with me. And until next time, we'll see you later. Say bye.